It is the Frank and Friends show. Hi there, I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
And Kathryn's acting out a scene from Top Gun Maverick, which is a big popular movie nowadays.
Well, it's still hot in here, so I thought, I might as well, pretend that I'm outside, sun glaring, and
I do,
as if I'm,
I do want to do the pool episode with you, but, that requires a little more logistics.
It does, yeah.
And when you're ready for that, it's...
Well, as long as you bring the wine slushie.
Oh, the wine slushie.
I'll be ready.
I have some from my birthday party a year ago.
Fantastic. And you know what? I have some cider slushie that I can bring over.
It's frozen solid, by the way. In case you need this as an ice pack, you can sit on it.
If I'll save that for later.
If you want to, you can sit on it and melt it, I guess.
Yeah. Great.
Here, I'll put it back here.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, we've got this bag. For those of you who are just listening on all the different podcast apps, which is great, we do appreciate that. I've got this bag of frozen wine and juice that you and I bought when we were in Pigeon Forge for our very first episode together as a Seymour Smokies.
Yeah.
And then I made it for my birthday party, but no, we had so much that had extra. So I put it in the deep freeze and forgot about it for a year. And I'm trying to thaw it out so I can give you some to cool you off today.
We're coming up to your birthday too, so
it's still hot.
Yeah.
And here in the house, the HVAC people are supposed to be coming. Well, the HVAC guy said he's going to listen. The salesman, William, said he's going to listen on Apple Podcasts.
Fantastic.
I found out that my friend Bean prefers to listen to the show.
Okay.
And I think it's a little TMI because I offered to send him the YouTube link. He's like, "Oh, I already heard it." And then there was an episode, I guess over Memorial Day weekend, where I had it finished early. It was a holiday weekend, so I worked ahead and had the episode for May 31st finished early. I said,
Nice.
Bean, I can send it to you early. You don't have to wait until May 31st. He's like, no. I will listen in the shower like I do.
Okay.
And that's the TMI part.
Yeah.
So happy showering, Bean. We know that on Tuesday mornings, my friend Bean is listening to us in the shower.
Well, that's a great place to listen.
It is, actually.
Yeah.
I try to, I guess you listen to podcasts when you're doing chores outside.
Exactly, yeah.
Maybe I need better earbuds or something like that, but to me, it's just, I'm always just uncomfortable and sweaty, and I don't have wireless earbuds. I've got the corded kinds.
Oh, yeah, you need the wireless to make that work.
And then a problem I have is that I'm so filthy from the gardening,
Well, yeah, that's why you need the Dawn to...
Well, for the poison ivy, I need to wash myself with Dawn dishwashing liquid. But even if I'm out there and I get a phone call from my wife, I don't even want to touch the phone because I've got gloves on, first of all.
Right.
And then the dirt somehow still gets inside the gloves.
Yeah.
Everything is just, and I'm dripping in sweat. And I don't even want to have my phone near me. I just want to leave it somewhere else.
Something fancy my earbuds have been doing is telling me when I get a call and asking me if I want to answer it.
Oh, that's cool.
So maybe it would be helpful because then you wouldn't even have to touch the...
No, if I don't accept Jere's call, she will call back 4 or 5 times immediately. So when I miss a call from Jere, I don't miss a call from Jere. I look at it and it says...
You miss 5?
Yeah. Whereas when I call her and I miss it and she misses it, I'm like, well...
She must be busy.
She must be busy. And then I ask her about it later. She's like, oh, I don't know. I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Had this phone on silent from 2-3 days ago.
Well, the thing is that she's actually at work,
Well, this was, she was gone for 3 weeks with the grandchildren. So I guess technically she's still working, caring for the kids while Megan is, recuperating and everything's going well, by the way. Everyone's doing well.
Good,
We're all healthy and happy.
That's awesome.
And they're on their way. They're coming here. Jere and 2 of the grandchildren are coming here to the Podcast Ponderosa. It's going to be Timmy and Charlie.
Nice.
Now, you met them once, and I hope we can take them, I thought we might go to one of the miniature golf places or something, do an episode while they're here. But after they've been here for about a week, then we trade them in for the one and only Artie Rocket.
You trade 2 and you get 1.
But you know how it is with Artie. We don't.
Yeah.
He could do the show himself, probably. We don't doesn't really need us.
That would be fun.
So we can do another, fun episode with him.
Yeah, maybe he can sit where Mo sits,
Oh yeah, well he'll pop right in. He's done it before. That flower back there, that lily of some kind. I don't know what kind it's called.
It's pretty.
But it just bloomed about a week ago or a week and a half ago, and it's still blooming. So I've been keeping it out there. The other flower that I occasionally put out is I left it in the sun too long, so it's a little crunchy. It's got to recuperate in the office.
Yeah. We should mention that you can find a way that you can support us is going to our frankandfriendshow.com/store to find all this fun merchandise.
Yes. Oh, and you can occasionally look for us on the WATE homepage. That was exciting last week when we got our full-page splash of us on the computer.
Yeah, it was neat. And all you have to do, you go there and it shows up and you click on it and it takes you right to the YouTube.
So you can subscribe.
Smash that button to get the notifications.
And what day is today? Today is June. Well, I've got a calendar
June
right
7th,
right here, so I can tell you that you can see us on TV. Actually, you'll hear me on the Straight No Chaser show on Thursday night, June 9th, and then you can see Kathryn and me on TV doing the pledge breaks during the Brit Floyd Space and Time live in Amsterdam on East Tennessee PBS.
Yeah,
so that's exciting that they invited us to do that.
That was really fun.
Very fun. Maybe, if we didn't screw it up too badly, we can probably do more.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So I think I told you last time about just all of the yard work.
You have been out in the yard a lot.
So much yard work.
I mean...
And I never thought I would be that guy. When my dad would do this, when I was, in the year before he died, would get out there.
Maybe you should slow down a little then.
He would be pulling out poison ivy and trying to cut the weeds because he bought a house in the woods in Virginia, and it was insane. Now, I have, occasionally hired people to come cut down things, but that's got me going.
Right.
They cut down enough that now it's on me to maintain all of that, to keep it cut. Go ahead.
Do you find it relaxing?
No.
So what's motivating you, I guess, to...
Well, the figs, mostly.
Okay.
I had to adjust my ice pack. My tailbone was getting numb again. I've got we have ice packs.
Yeah, we have ice.
In our, where that we're sitting on to try to chill us a little bit.
Mine is melting a little.
Well, that's technically a compress. You need, here, this, let's switch.
No, this is nice.
Take this one. This one's too cold.
No.
This one's, I feel like I have an epidural.
Too bad.
Take this one.
I like this one.
All right. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Two? You should feel that.
Oh, that is pretty nice.
I know.
Right.
Give me the...
No, I get two now.
I mean, I'm still numb from the waist down. So...
There you go.
No, it's fine. It is a little soggy, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still hot here.
I know. Well, the air conditioning guys are coming. The kids are coming. I've been out there doing the gardening work, which would be nice to walk into an air-conditioned house. Did I tell you I bought a pole saw? You see it over there? I haven't used it yet. I'm a little afraid.
I'm a little afraid that you own this.
Yeah.
What is? Okay, I honestly don't know what a pole saw does.
Okay, you know what a chainsaw is, right?
Yes.
Now imagine a slightly smaller chainsaw on the end of a 10-foot pole.
What? You do not need this.
Yes, you do.
You don't.
No, how are you supposed to reach?
What
you do is you go up there and you cut the things that are directly over your head.
And let them fall on your head?
Well, I think you jump out of the way. It's probably in the instructions.
So
it's probably something in the instructions
about
jumping out of the...
I'm going to go again back to that. Maybe you should slow down,
With the gardening?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I have... I'm trying to update the figs. There's these two areas in the lawn in the backyard that it's a work in progress.
Yeah.
There used to be a fence there, and the buried cement fence posts are still there. So I keep trying to dig around them, trying to get them up. So I've dug so many holes in that yard, and I can't get them out. But I've been pulling up weeds. You dig a hole, and then you get a root, and you keep digging, and you keep digging.
Right. Yeah.
And trying to pull these roots out, and it reminds me of this old workout. I used to have to go to a gym to do commercials for this gym.
Sure, and like the pulleys.
And you had to pull these things to lift the weight. So it's me, except I'm pulling on roots.
Yeah.
The key, though, is at some point either you're going to give way or the root's going to give way, and you're going to go toppling backwards. So you have to be ready for that.
Yeah.
At any moment, you have to be ready to
catch yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So far I've been lucky.
That sounds very dangerous.
It's probably horrifically dangerous. But I was digging out there, and these kudzu roots that I hate, and I'm trying to get them up, and these other weeds, and I'm digging in the yard. And then I hit something.
That's not a good sign.
Well, I thought it might be another cement fence post.
Okay.
But it gives a little bit, and I thought, oh, this is exciting. I wonder what I've uncovered.
What have you discovered?
What have I hit?
Yeah.
And it's kind of soft, but it's still firm, and I try to dig around it, and it's bigger than I thought.
How deep is this hole?
I'm guessing about maybe a little over a foot.
Okay.
I mean, it's deeper than the shovel. I'm already, the actual height of the shovel, I'm already below that.
Right.
And digging, and then I'm touching it, and it feels like a piece of carpet. It's like a rug.
A rug?
That's what it turns out. Well, I kept digging. It turns out that it is, in fact, I guess you'd call it a rug, or it's a rectangle.
Like a bath mat?
Yeah, like you would put in the bathroom, just either step on when you get out of the shower, or maybe you'd put one, in front of the sink in the mirror. You would stand on it, while you're doing your makeup and whatnot.
Right.
It's a bath mat.
And it's buried in your backyard.
Buried in my backyard, folded in half. So when I dug it up, I thought I had it, and then I realized no, there's another 6 inches of dirt before I have to dig up the second half of it. So it was like digging out twice. So I made a video of it. I can show you this bath mat that was in this hole, so you get an idea of what I'm talking about.
Right.
And it's going through my mind, what could possibly have happened in the bathroom? What did you stain this? Why? What bodily fluid? What excretion? What happened that you'd be standing there in the bathroom and look at this bath mat and go, I should wash that. No. I should throw that out. No. I should
bury it?
Take that out in the backyard and bury it at least a foot deep.
So somebody was murdered.
No, nobody was murdered.
Evidence. This is evidence. Have you called the police yet?
No, it's not a murder.
Did you bury this? Are you confessing to something?
All right, I'll admit not that, but I'll admit that I called over next door neighbor Nancy and showed it to her and said, Nancy, in the history of this neighborhood, and you've lived here, I mean, she was one of the first people.
Was anyone murdered?
I said, did anyone ever go missing?
That's hilarious.
And she said, not that I know of. But she told me about the people who lived here, and she said, yeah, he bought this particular plot of land because it was the highest one in the neighborhood, and he wanted to erect his ham radio antenna.
Okay.
So she said it was huge. So it was on the top of the hill as far as the neighborhood goes, and she had this ham radio antenna, and there's this big cement pads in the backyard where the guy wire's attached.
Okay.
So those are a problem when I'm out there digging.
Right.
And she said also that his sons had a clubhouse in the woods. Mm-hmm. So she thinks maybe this bath mat might be left over from the clubhouse in the woods days.
I think that they probably moved here with the bath mat after they had murdered someone. I mean, was there a mom? I mean, she's mentioned the dad and the 2 kids, but where's the mom?
I assume there's a mom.
I mean, but she wasn't mentioned. So, did they move?
No.
And then bring this murder rug
Kathryn,
to the house and bury it in the backyard as soon as they got here.
It's not a murder rug.
I mean,
it's a mystery rug.
No, why else do you bury it in the backyard? There's no other logical.
Well, I did think of that. It would make sense. Like, I put it in the garbage and I threw it out. It's gone.
So you threw away the evidence?
No, I threw away.
I mean, because it probably had DNA on it. We could find the missing person.
Do you think that they're going to actually go search through everyone's garbage looking for bloodstains and DNA?
No, not through the garbage, but
Okay,
if you turn it in.
No, can you imagine how stupid that would be if you go to the police or I call Dr. Bass or somebody and I'm like, hey.
I found a murder rug in my backyard. Can you do some DNA testing on it so we can see?
But that didn't look bloody.
Well, it's been in there for what?
Well, I've lived here 20 years.
Right.
And I didn't bury it, so clearly.
It's been there a long time.
At least 20 years. Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing. Did they move after they murdered someone? Quickly, did they get out?
It was 2 owners ago. Well, I don't even know. But this house has had 3 owners. I'm the 3rd. So, I mean, it's possible. The couple who lived here before us, they did not get along. The husband.
And they got out quickly?
Well, no, I guess they had to sell. But the husband moved down to the basement and the wife stayed upstairs. They were divorced, but they lived in the house together.
Okay, but did anyone see them leave together?
Well, we never
met
the husband. We only bought the house from the wife.
See? She did it.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's.
My goodness!
But I mean,
you never met him. No. See, no one. I'm just saying.
I mean, they were divorced. He left eventually.
He was in the basement until she murdered him.
There's no murders in the basement.
You don't know? You've not been down there?
I've been in the basement. Frank Jr. lived in the basement for the 4 years of high school.
Is it haunted?
No. No. I mean, maybe it's a little creepy when you find my old Pee Wee Herman doll down there. That's a little creepy.
That's not too bad.
But, I mean, Kathryn, you're trying to turn this into one of those very popular murder podcasts.
I mean, I think it is.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, we're going to be
me.
that television show. What is it with the
Unsolved Mysteries? No.
No, there's like a murder podcast.
Oh, The Only Murders in the Building?
Yes. That's us now.
I would love to watch that, but I'm not going to sign up for another streaming service.
Oh my gosh.
So at some point, it needs to come. I mean, they need to just make it available on, like, I can just pay for it on
else,
like Amazon Prime or some other thing, right?
Oh, it's really good. Okay, well, that's going to be our podcast from now on, and we're
The
going to find
the only murders in the building. That's what you're saying.
Yes, and we're going to follow the murder of this rug.
I'll also like to point out when I was talking to next door neighbor Nancy about the not murder rug, mystery rug.
Murder.
It's a mystery rug that was buried in the backyard. She says, "Oh, by the way, I need to make a correction on your show."
Uh-oh.
Because she's known that she'll catch up on past episodes.
Yeah.
She said, "It wasn't my son who caught the bat in my house. I did it myself." So she herself Googled how to catch a bat in a T-shirt, which I responded, of course, with, holy bat shirt.
That's fantastic.
But she's the bat catcher, not her son.
That's wonderful.
And she wanted everyone to know that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, congratulations.
Well, I'm trying to figure out a way to change the subject enough away
No, I
from...
mean, it's still a murder rug, regardless of whether or not you change the subject.
Because we're about to talk about Bonezones.com. Don't forget the S.
We have to call Dr. Bill Bass and make sure he gets involved with this murder rug. He's the perfect person to help us.
Let me see if the slushies are melted yet. I think
We can put them in here?
I mean, look at the snow that's coming off of this. Anyway, Bonezones.com. Don't forget the S. We'll get to that in a minute. Bill Bass is a great forensic anthropologist. I think I told Asia White when she was here that he was involved in the 1982 World's Fair.
Nice.
PBS showed it the other day. I was over Memorial Day weekend. PBS showed this 2-hour block of their footage from the 1982 World's Fair. And there's Dr. Bass unwrapping the Peruvian mummy. And he's so much, it's 40 years ago. I'm like, oh, wow, I know that guy now. And it's wild to see him 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So he tells all of these amazing stories. When you come see Dr. Bass speak in public, we had one recently about the Benton fireworks disaster. We have an event coming up. It's going to be kind of a This Is Your Life Dr. Bass event.
Nice.
On his 94th birthday, or maybe the eve of his 94th birthday. That'll be at Cherokee
amazing.
Caverns. And we haven't put tickets on sale or anything yet, but if you keep going to bonezones.com,
Don't forget the S.
You have all the awarenesses and notifications and things right there.
Because they sell out quickly.
Yeah, there's 100 tickets, and they usually, last time it took 3 days, I think, to sell them out.
That's impressive.
You can buy fantastic merchandise, whether it's a t-shirt, a hat, a challenge coin.
These awesome mugs.
Autographed books and pictures, all that fun stuff. And I love the books because they tell you about
All
what
of the
Dr.
terrible
Bass
things,
did and
yeah.
the crimes that he solved and the
Yeah.
things that he dug up. But he's more into
Including
bones.
murder rugs.
No, he studies bones, human bones. He's the
There
bone
might be some
doctor.
bones down there. You gotta keep digging.
I've discovered the hard way that I would not make it one day as a gravedigger. Because if you have to dig 6 feet down, and probably 6 by 3?
Oh, yeah.
I could barely dig out this not murder rug, just mystery
There's
rug.
probably more down there.
Well, there's fence. If I could dig out a grave, I could dig out these fence posts and get them out.
Yeah, I just think that you might come across some bones if you keep digging.
Well, people
in the
do
murder
show up
rug.
sometimes at our appearances with Dr. Bass, and they say, "Dr. Bass, what's this bone?" And he's like, "Take it to the police. Take it to the forensic anthropology department. Don't bring it to a
To a conversation.
children's museum lecture."
That's wonderful.
Anyway,
I
so
love that.
bonezones.com.
Don't forget the
S. I guess you can check if you want to check the slushies. But that noise, it just occurred to me that while we're still waiting for the... oh, wow, this thawed fast. It's really hot in here. And this is like super... I need to get a towel.
Well,
All right,
that'll have to wait.
All right. Do you want some of this?
Yep.
Because
It is warm.
as we're celebrating your success in the Copper
Look
Queen.
at that. Oh, it did melt fast, didn't
Oh,
it?
my. I don't need to get up. Did you pop mine off?
Oh, yeah.
And we'll have a little bit of this wine slushy to celebrate your success in the Copper Queen with Marble City Opera. Now, if we missed it, Kathryn Can we still watch the online?
You still can.
How do we do that?
You go to marblecityopera.com
Yeah.
/tickets and purchase yourself the online version.
And for those of you who are listening, this is a mess.
This is a mess, but it's going to be delicious. Cheers.
Cheers. So we'll drink that out of our Bonezones cup. This is the stuff from, I think I mentioned already at the beginning of the show. This is from my birthday a year ago.
Oh, that's good. That's tasty.
I don't know.
This was a good choice.
I'm glad. Oh, it feels stronger somehow.
Well, it's been fermenting.
I think what happened is last time I tried to have some, I ended up getting mostly ice and not much of the wine. So therefore, there's more wine in it now.
It's pretty tasty.
Well, all right. So I don't have a murder to report.
Yet. But as we continue this podcast of murder in the backyard, we'll have more developing, you know.
Now, I'm not the only one doing home improvements. And in fact, this is what I was going to mention, is when you hear, because the windows are open, you're welcome to suburbia. You constantly hear the roar of leaf blowers, lawn mowers. There's somebody's doing home repair. I heard I'm trying to do the radio show this morning, and I just hear bang, bang, bang. And I went out, and I guess it was 2 houses down, must be getting new gutters. You know, and because I've been guilty of it. My wife and I have tried to upgrade the Podcast Ponderosa a little bit.
Yeah.
But what about you? Are you, you and your husband occasionally, when you're not making operas?
We're not really, the fix-it kind of people.
Not the DIY folks?
No, not so much. I mean, we did paint a couple of rooms during the pandemic, and I did actually discover that I know how to drywall, which is kind of fun.
Wait, drywall, that's a lot.
Well, you can learn everything on YouTube.
Oh.
So.
Okay, because you're right. It never occurred to me to do that.
You can listen to our show, but you can also on YouTube Google anything, and they'll tell you how to do it. So we had a little hole in the kitchen.
That's
wall,
impressive. Yeah.
And I just looked it up.
What did you have to do?
It told me what to buy. You just need I guess I don't even know what any of it's called. You buy this little flap that has a hole in it, and you stick it in the wall, and then you put the drywall on it. And
oh, so it's a patch. It's a
little
drywall repair kit.
Yeah.
Do you have to cut? Wait, is there cutting involved?
There is. Yeah,
That's
you have to kind of cut the wall.
See, I think that would terrify me, the cutting part.
That was the fun part.
But then when you're done, the hole or dent or whatever, there's a dent in our bedroom wall upstairs, probably from when we...
Patch that up for you.
Nope. Upstairs is backstage, and that's off limits. I would have to do so much cleaning and work and straightening, and no, you can't go upstairs.
Okay, well,
but
I can teach you to drywall.
But there's I think a ding in the wall from when we moved in here 20 years ago, and somebody dinged the wall with the corner of a piece of furniture.
That would probably be pretty easy to fix. You might not even need a patch for that.
Oh.
You could probably just put the drywall, whatever it's called, the spackle or whatever.
Yeah, and then just paint over it.
And then just paint over it, yeah. I mean, technically, you're supposed to use a sander after that. So that's kind of the point. I got to the point where, I really need to sand the wall now, so that then I can paint it, so it can look
It's still
smooth.
a work in progress?
It's still a work in progress, yeah. I did the drywalling before rehearsal started, and then I thought, I'd have time, but then I got COVID and... all the things.
We couldn't have done it while you had COVID.
I thought about it.
You're home.
James was like, stop doing things. You're supposed to be resting.
I'm sanding. I'm sanding, James. Can't you see I'm sanding?
Yeah. I mean, I did tell the doctor when I went to see them to get a doctor's note saying I wasn't contagious anymore, that they should add frustration and anger to the list of symptoms.
Is stomachache a symptom?
Main. I think it can be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anything can be a symptom, right?
They're all symptoms.
I had somebody I know who had a stomach ache, and one of my, I don't know how to describe it, Chicken Little friends, more anxious, nervous Nelly types, said, stomach bug, that might be COVID. I'm how? Everything, but
everything
they say that about everything.
Yeah.
So I'm I don't even...
I mean, literally, if you sneeze, sneezing is also...
A symptom?
A symptom. And so, and especially now, people are vaccinated and the symptoms are so mild, it's really difficult.
Does it
I would
freak
never
you
have
out?
known if I hadn't tested, if I hadn't, been needing to take a test for, I wouldn't have
a scheduled test.
Yeah.
I think I told this story when Sarah Roberto was here, but I coughed and I was in the process of clearing my throat to get ready to do an Einstein Simplified show.
Yeah.
While I'm walking down Union Avenue, and someone a half a block away turns around to give me a dirty look. And I wasn't even, it's one of those things where I'm,
just clearing
I'm
your
clearing my
throat.
throat, and in a context of it, I ended up inhaling some saliva because I wasn't thinking, I wasn't and I'm coughing it out. And when I inhale liquid by accident, I really basically have to cough it out until I sneeze, and then I'm fine.
Right. That makes sense.
Well, people get freaked out.
Yeah.
I mean, I was half a city block away.
And you're outside, like you're fine.
And what about like at an event, like at a church or a theater, and someone coughs? What do you do?
Well, I always gave people dirty looks, even before the pandemic.
You know what I give them? Some of my Luden's lozenges.
Yeah, you pass them over. Yeah, I've done that too. Before.
I've done that I did that at the Cathedral Concert Series when was it Diana Selesky or somebody's up there performing and somebody's hacking up a lung near me, or we used to say that, hacking up a lung, like it was funny. Now we can't. It's like, oh my gosh, what if they are? They're coughing in the pew behind me, so I'm passing back a lozenge, and I've done that multiple times.
I've done that before
at events because it's just it's easier than trying to say.
Yeah, well, it can be anything. I mean, and also like tree pollen. Well, tree pollen's not bad right now, but grass pollen is really high. So everyone who has allergies is suffering. So you wouldn't know if it was allergies or COVID. I mean,
well, the people who sold me a very expensive HVAC unit claim that I will breathe more easily because the old one has accumulated all of that grit, mold, dust, grotesqueness. That's all going to be taken away.
Yeah.
So
you'll be breathing like you've never breathed before.
That could be a song. Well, I'm excited when the boys get here. I'm a little anxious because the 4-year-old and the 6-year-old are the two that are coming.
Yeah, that is fun.
And in the past, we've had Artie and Timmy together for a week because they were the older two. So it's Charlie's first time to go to Grandma and Grandpa camp.
That's exciting.
So my main thing is you teach them to swim. Yeah. We have a pool. We go in the pool every day while they're here.
Yeah.
And they will build up strength as a swimmer, I hope, and be able to, the main thing I care about is, can they get out of the pool? Teach them immediately how to get out of the pool.
That's good.
Wherever you are, whatever has happened.
This is how you get out.
All I care about is you got to get out.
Yeah, that's great.
Got to be able to get yourself out of the pool because that's safety, right?
Right.
But I'm also worried that I don't have enough to keep them busy. Like, with Artie, he's now 8, so I can tell Artie, go do something for an hour and a half while I record the radio station and don't bother me. And he's not even that interested. He's like, yeah, sure.
He'll play some video games or something.
Yeah, or he would do that. He would play video games with the sound off. He did the Dance
Revolution?
Is that what it's called? It's a Wii game.
I think it's Dance
where they
Revolution.
have like Live in La Vida Loca and some New Direction song.
Yeah.
That's What Makes You Beautiful. Is that a song? Anyway, but he would do it with no music. He would just do it to watching the motions.
Right.
And it would crack me up. But he's got the music in his head. He hears music in his head. I never do. I don't.
Yeah. And he's very musical.
Yeah. He'll go to the piano and just start experimenting, and it starts to sound like notes, not just noise.
Yeah, no, he's got a great singing voice too. He's got a good ear.
Well, I'm excited about it, but he'll be coming later. And Timmy and Charlie also apparently the whole family does. Now they sing the prayers every night. Brian plays piano to put them to sleep.
Nice.
So they like it. They're into that.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, what am I going to do? How am I going to keep them busy? And I had this idea, and it involves next door neighbor Nancy.
Okay. Is she going to teach them how to catch bats?
Well, that's a good idea.
And
I'm trying to figure out a way to delicately ask her, besides obviously putting it on the podcast and hope that she sees it.
Well, I think you're putting it out early enough
that
she can hear it.
Yeah, that's certainly possible.
Yeah.
I noticed that Nancy's son has put an ultimate frisbee device in the backyard.
Fun.
So I started hearing these clanking chains. Ka-ching,
Yeah.
ka-ching.
Yeah.
And what is that noise? It sounds like someone rattling a chain link fence.
Yeah.
And I go up on the porch and I look over, and he's got this, I guess it's a basket with chains on it, just like you'd see at a park.
Yeah.
Except they've got one in the backyard.
That's awesome.
And he's out there. He's got at least 2 discs so that he can throw, 2 before he has to go walk over and pick them up.
Nice. Well, maybe he could use Timmy and Charlie to pick up the...
Yes,
They
I
could
thought.
be his like frisbee boys.
I thought maybe he could just teach them. I could just say, "Hey, can I send the boys over
be
to?"
fun
You could just teach them frisbee golf, for several hours.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You're just gonna like dump your grandchildren on your neighbors
Well,
to take care of while you're working.
I'm assuming that you'll be here to record a
So you're
podcast
gonna
one of the
have me
days.
come over and
No,
maybe babysit them.
well, you can if you want, but I'm assuming that you'll be here to record a podcast on at least one of the days that they're in town.
Yeah.
So I thought, that would be another opportunity to, hey boys, why don't you go play frisbee golf next door?
Yeah. They can join us on the podcast.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't, if they have interest. I mean, I don't know that the Charlie and Timmy have that much interest. Like Artie wants to be on camera. He's the
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But Timmy and Charlie, Timmy
probably
plays.
get bored.
They're more into sports and.
Yeah. Do you have like a Nerf basketball like setup that you could put like on one of the doors? And aren't there just like a couple of like little?
We have an actual. The people who had owned the house before me.
Yeah.
That don't.
The ones who murdered someone
No.
in the backyard and then disposed of the rug so that their evidence was covered up.
Well, they have They put a basketball hoop out there, right where you park normally.
Oh yeah.
So we have an actual basketball. We
So
have an
they could do
actual
that.
basketball hoop. They could just shoot baskets, right?
Good. Well, we'd probably need to leave the door open so you can watch them. I don't think they're not old enough that you can just like leave them. I mean, Charlie's 4.
Yeah. You should probably leave them. I mean, at home they're allowed to go out in the yard by themselves. So why wouldn't they be allowed to go out in the yard by themselves here?
But there's no fence. Like, do they go back? Do they play on their driveway by themselves
Yeah.
with Artie there, or just like?
Well,
Timmy
whoever.
and Charlie?
They run in and they're boys. They're
They're boys. They're fine.
No. My daughter will say they need them to burn off some energy. She's like, get out of the house. Go run
my
around.
concern would be that the driveway is steep, and like if the ball runs down, and like there's all these hills, and if they're running out into the street to grab the ball, it's dangerous.
Well, they're not idiots. They're smart enough. And if we lose a
Good thing
basketball,
I'm not a mom. I'd be like, get back in the house.
that's so true though. The way it is nowadays, with everyone such a nervous Nelly about their kids.
Yeah.
My wife and I, when we lived in Los Angeles County, Burbank, California, we would get to the point where like we need the kids to like go leave for a while. So as soon as they were old enough, like, why don't you guys walk to the drugstore and buy some soda or something?
That's hilarious.
Just get out, just go.
How old was old enough?
Well, that's a really good question. Let's see, 1996 or 7. Frank Jr. would have been like 6 or 7 years old.
That was old enough to walk to the store?
Yeah,
by
it
themselves?
wasn't that far. I mean, probably, maybe even younger, but probably, yeah, let's just say 6 or 7, and Megan would have been
Y'all were cool parents.
9 or 10, or 10 or 11 maybe, yeah.
Y'all were, okay, so what was curfew when they got older for them? Did they have to be home by 10 or 11 or midnight or 1?
I mean, like, how much older do you mean?
Like when they were teenagers.
Oh, well, they didn't really go anywhere. They weren't that interesting.
They didn't go out with their friends?
I'm sure they did.
They didn't go on dates? They didn't have curfews?
Not a lot.
No? Okay.
I mean, they didn't do, no. I mean, we moved
I had
here.
very strict curfews. That's why I was asking.
We moved here in the middle of Megan's high school. So after 2 years in California,
Okay.
and then 2 years here. So she had to go through all that adjustment. And the friends that she made, she joined the Sound Company Children's Chorus.
Oh, nice.
So really everything kind of revolved around that. I was like, got to drive her out to
Scheduled.
Oak
Yeah.
Ridge and get her to rehearsal. And then after 2 years, she went away to college and never came back. So
There you go.
that was the end of that.
Yeah.
And then she started dating people and had, obviously is now married to that guy, and they have all the children.
All the children. Yeah.
Frank Jr. lived here for 7th and 8th grade, and then 4 years of high school, and then he moved away and never came back. So you got.
So your kids never come back.
But he was also, Mr. Student, a student,
Yeah.
valedictorian. So
Yeah.
really everything was about got to do
School.
the work,
Yeah.
and then he was on the swim team.
Yep.
So if it was either homework or swim practice, seemed like it was entire. All of his time.
Makes me sound like I was a rebellious teenager.
Of course you were. Why else would you be on the podcast?
Singing opera and being a crazy person.
What did you do that was so different, so weird?
I don't think I did anything that was weird. I was completely normal.
So it's weird that my kids were kind of.
No, I don't know that either. I had very strict curfews. I mean, we would not have been allowed to walk down to the convenience store like when I was 6 or 12.
But we lived in Los Angeles.
Yeah, so it was completely different.
Totally different.
Yeah,
Well,
completely
Burbank.
safe.
It was Burbank. It wasn't really Los Angeles. Completely different.
Oh, yeah. completely.
I'll tell you one quick story about Frank Jr. at swim practice.
Okay.
And this is one of my favorite stories. I've told it 100 times. But there was a night, it was a Tuesday, where he had swim practice, and Jere had rehearsal. She was singing in some Knoxville Choral Society big thing at the Tennessee Theater, whatever it was. It was one of the big ones with the KSO. So they had a dress rehearsal on a Tuesday night. And I have Einstein Simplified on a Tuesday night. And this is back, I mean, he was in high school. So at that point, Einstein Simplified, every Tuesday night, including tonight, was performing in those days at Patrick Sullivan's, which is a saloon, and it dated from 1888, a saloon in the Old City, and it had the real saloon feel to it. It's now what's it called, Lonesome Dove now?
Yep.
Have you been there?
I haven't, but I really want to.
Oh, my wife and I went there for a special anniversary dinner, and if I could afford to go back more than once every 10 years, I would. But it was that good.
It's good. Wow.
And it's memorable all these years later.
I went once when it was Patrick Sullivan's, but
so you know, all right. So it was a real dive, almost a dive.
Yeah.
It was like falling apart. You know, there were like you'd step certain places on the floor, you'd step, and the floor would almost
creak,
give out, and the bathrooms, the toilets were sinking into the floor. So they had to fix all of that. Well, anyway, so what am I going to do? I'm on stage doing a show. Jerry's on stage doing a rehearsal. Frank Jr.'s got swim practice, and the way it timed out, we could drop him off at swim practice at 6 or 7 o'clock, but he'd be finished right at 9, which is, I'm in the middle of the show, Jerry's in the middle of rehearsal. So another one of the dads, Kirk Ikas, says, no worries, I can give Frank a ride, it's no problem at all.
Great.
And I said, well, it'd be great if you could just take him from the UT Swim Center over here to the Old City.
Then you can take him home.
And you could, I could take him home. You can drop him off at the corner of Central and Jackson. But there's one thing I'm going to ask, because he's only, what is he? Freshman, sophomore in high school? Yeah.
15?
Yeah, he can't drive, obviously.
Right.
I said, there's one thing I'm going to ask. Please watch and make sure that he gets all the way into the bar safely.
That seems fair. Did they have like a cover or like a age limit? Did he get stuck on the street?
Technically. But he walks into the bar, and remember, we're doing the show up on the 3rd floor.
A 14-year-old walks into a bar.
And the bartender waves at him and goes, oh, hey.
What's up? Your dad's upstairs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I recognize you. Your dad's here all the time.
Yeah.
Not drinking, but...
Do you need the other... I guess we need to wrap the episode. If the diva is sweating, schwitzing, when the diva schwitzes, its show is over.
Yeah.
That's the finale. Well, thanks for being here. I appreciate you, by the way.
Yeah.
I'll mention that you can listen to all sorts of audio entertainment at audibletrial.com/FrankandFriendsShow.
Or you can get the premium membership for 1 month, where you can download anything you want. There's new content all the time on Audible Trial, and you can listen to it over all of your devices.
It's really convenient.
It's really great.
It saves your space, so whether you're using the iPhone app, which is, of course, Audible's got a great iPhone app, or iPad, or...
your Alexa. Or
your Fire tablet or whatever thing.
All the things.
Yeah. It just listen, to your book. And when you get that free download, that free MP3, sort by length and find the one that's really long.
Yeah, get the biggest one,
Yeah, why not?
So then when your trial is up, if you don't by chance keep it,
you'll still be listening to the first one.
That's right.
But we're confident, and they're confident, that you're going to want to stick around and just listen to the constant new content that's coming out, or get caught up on famous books from the past that you thought, I probably should have read that at some point.
Yeah.
But it would be convenient to listen to it while you're driving around.
That's right. Get caught up on the Frank and Friends Show.
That's right. We're on there with podcasts.
Another way you can support us is going to frankandfriendshow.com/store. Purchase some of our fabulous merchandise. We have the mugs, the cell phone cases. We have some fun summer things, like this wonderful beach towel that Frank will use one of these days.
You can unfold it to show the friends part if you want.
Yeah, that's the Frank part. I'm the friends. This is the best part.
Oh, you're sweet. All right.
Don't forget to subscribe and like us on all of the things.
Yeah.
Smash
YouTube.
that button.
Get the notifications. Help us get to a gazillion YouTube subscribers. We are working on it. We're right now in that dangerously close to 666 range.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we're right in that neighborhood. So if you can help us
get over the hump.
Yeah, we would like to get past that, because it's superstition. Why not? It's not a murder rug. It's just a bath mat. Rug. And this
It is a murder rug.
This is the Frank and Friends show. I'm Frank Murphy.
I'm Kathryn Frady.
And we'll talk to you again next time. It's not a murder rug.
It's a murder rug.
It can't
We're
be
doing a murder
rug.
podcast
No,
now.
it's not.